Hi everyone, it's Kelly from Eclectic Entries, and today I would like to talk to you about my reaction to the trailer and date announcement for Dark Season 3, the final season, and I am so excited. Unfortunately, as many of you know who are Dark fans, I can't really talk a lot about what made me so excited when I saw this trailer. Um, because if I did, I would end up going to super spoiler territory for people who maybe haven't seen it. Um, but just I had just gotten done watching a movie with my mom on TV that I had recorded on Sci-Fi here in the States, and it was actually one of Guillermo del Toro's movies called Mama, and I had wanted to see it, and I had never gotten to see it. So I just finished watching that. My dad came home. He was at a doctor appointment for his knee. Uh, he's okay, but it's knees, all right? And he came back, and we were just sitting at the dinner table, and he was just like, "You do know that a thing popped up on my phone for Dark, right?" And I was like, "What?" I was like, "What?" And so I went and he showed me, and I'm like, "No, let's pull it up on the TV." And so we pulled it up on the TV, loaded YouTube app, and was like, "Oh my god!" And so we watched the trailer together. I'm the only person in my family who has watched both seasons of Dark that are out so far. Um, but they could tell that I was like super excited, and I am. If you have not seen Dark, I'm trying to think because I don't want to like spoil it. Yeah. I don't know. I have other videos about it that may or may not be less spoilery. Just go Google it. It's a great Netflix series that's German, but it has like a dub that I don't think is too painful, but I don't really watch much of it, so it's hard for me to say. I typically like to watch media in its original language because I feel like that's the most respectful to the content creators because I have the ability to do so and still be able to focus and follow the story. Not everybody is able to do that, and that's legit, and that's fine, or they just don't like, having to deal with subtitles. That's also legit, that's also fine, but I happen to be that way personally. So I like listening to it in German with English subtitles. And just please, if you like series that are, like I've said in my other videos, dark, have really complex mysteries that aren't convoluted, there seems to be reasoning for everything that has happened so far, even though it gets so complicated. It gets complicated, and yet the way it unfurls with the different characters and all the different um, moments and times that you get to spend with them, I feel like makes the narrative smooth enough that it's still easy to follow. And this has to do with different time cycles too. Okay, so not going to go any farther than that, but it does. And just go watch it. If you haven't seen Dark, go watch it. I would say because of how stressful everything has been for people lately with everything going on in the world, you may want to consider doing what I do sometimes and follow up something like that with something more lighthearted if you need to, like with a movie or like a short or something that makes you laugh or at least makes you go, wow, that was absurd. Just my little like, hey, just maybe consider that if it gets you down a little bit. But don't let that be a thing that prevents you from watching it because excuse me, it's a wonderful show. It is beautifully written. The actors do a great job. I can't like gush enough about it. Go watch it. So without further ado, I guess I'll just talk about. I'm really excited. Can you tell? Thank you, Germany, for getting that out to us, like getting that rolled out to us, and like being like, hey, look, you can enjoy this right now for the summer because Lord knows summer has been absolutely ruined and horrifyingly gone wrong for the whole world, right? So that's cool. Like, thanks for getting that to us so we can binge watch it as we're able. Um, so the other stuff on Netflix, obviously Avatar: The Last Airbender came out. It's like here in the States, like super high up there. Like everyone's watching it. I have it on DVD. I love that show. If you've never seen Avatar: The Last Airbender and don't want to watch it because you go, oh, I'm too old for cartoons. I'm too old for this, that. First of all, like you're talking to somebody who has freaking stuffed animals in the background. Shut up. Like seriously, come on, man. Like, figure something, figure that something that might be in a different medium than what you normally watch may still have important things to say without necessarily being preachy about it, but just a beautiful, wonderful narrative, great characters, a fun ride, okay? Serious ride, but a fun ride, okay? Also, Uncle Iroh. We all need Uncle Iroh right now in our lives, am I right? Right, so Avatar The Last Airbender is out. Dark, by the way, sorry, I got really excited, so I forgot to mention. Dark comes out on June 27th, and June 1st, which is next Monday, Cardcaptor Sakura, the original, comes out and is going to be on Netflix. I am so super excited for that because I remember watching like the really awkward, but we didn't know it was awkward because I didn't know any better, dub on Warner Bros. Kids Saturday morning cartoons, right? The anime. Back with like, I think also Yu-Gi-Oh was premiering around the same time. They still had Pokemon on and stuff. So it was like all the things, and they had like badly edited it to the point of butchering the entire storyline. I'm not even going to go into the drama of all that in the American version of the original Cardcaptor Sakura anime as Sakura anime as aired on American television because it was bad, and there are like a million YouTube videos you can go watch about it. Just know that wasn't lost on me. I will be watching it in Japanese. I hope that that is a option because I listened to the dub in the preview that Netflix has already where you can hit a little button that says, remind me that this comes out. And I was like, not my thing. It's fine. If it's your thing, not my thing. I'll go ahead and watch it in Japanese with English subtitles. Again, hopefully that's an option. So that just makes me so happy. I love Clamp. That's the mangaka, the author group. It's actually a group of women that wrote Cardcaptor Sakura. They've written countless, not countless, but like a lot of different mangas. They, you know, there's X 1999, the prequels Tokyo Babylon. You have Magic Knight Rayearth. You have, oh gosh, there's so many. There's the one about, my brain is just like, there's one of my favorites actually, which is Wish, which is a 4-volume manga series about angels and demons and nature spirits, and I love it. And it links up with Kobato, which is a much later manga they wrote, than Clover, which is one of the most minimalist dialogue mangas I've ever read, and it is just like, it rips my heart out every time. They wrote Tsubasa Reservoir Chronicle, which crosses over with Holic, and yes, I probably need to make an entire YouTube video just about Clamp, to be honest, or more than one. So it's pretty neat. If you're not aware of Clamp, just go check out some of their works. They're a great manga group. I know that here in the States there's a lot of their manga that came back into being published ever since Tokyo Pop went under a long time ago. So I think a lot of it's Kodansha. So thank you for that. Thank you for bringing it back to us. I think Dark Horse has some of the rights to some of them. Other than that, the other thing that's happening in June for me is, and for all of us who care, is the Daevabad trilogy will come to an end, which is a book series I like, and it'll be The Empire of Gold. And I am so happy. I started reading that series with The City of Brass when I was in Glasgow at Waterstones, and my friend handed it to, like, looked at the back, read that, and handed it to me silently, being like, I think this is for you. And yeah, I was hooked. I read it. I had to fight myself to not read it on the way home through Icelandair and then like Alaska Airlines. And by the way, this was last year. This was not this year. Thank goodness I got to go outside the US for the first time last year. Ooh. The other things I've been watching are Fruits Basket and A Certain Scientific Railgun Tea on Crunchyroll. I love The Certain Scientific universe. It is great. I know that they had to suspend some of the release of the rest of the anime until July, which is fine. I'd rather people be safe than sorry. And that's due to the pandemic. Let's see, what else? Oh, yeah. I need to finally finish watching The Medicis because they just released their other part of, I think it's The Magnificent. So that was originally, like, I was waiting forever for Raya Italia to, like, let it go so Netflix could have it. And it was, like, in limbo forever. And I'm, like, sitting there being like, Italy, I love you, but please let me have this last season, damn it. So I'm excited to binge watch that. And And I also was very curious, so I started to watch. I only had one episode. I've seen one episode. Not enough was to make me consider watching the rest of it. It's a Norwegian language Netflix show. I can English. Netflix. Why can I not? I'm thinking of some other languages right now because I started talking about like Italian and Spanish, and my brain's like, hey, let's think about all the other languages. And I'm like, please, no, please. I need to English right now. The Netflix series, Ragnarok. So it's Norwegian language, but I learned it's actually by a Danish production company. Makes sense, all Scandinavian. And the first episode was such a ride, and it was very much like kind of like it reminded me of a visual version of like a young adult novel, which is fine. But I felt like it was more than that too. None of those things are meant to be bad, by the way. It's fine. I think YA sometimes gets like a bad. I don't know. I don't like people who are just like elitist about shit. Anyway, so but it's not that. It's like it's an actual show, but it reminded me of that because of the age of the characters. And I was so thrown at the end of the first episode. I'm like, I gotta watch the rest of this to see what happens. And I learned it was greenlit for a second season, so that automatically will make me want to watch the rest of Ragnarok on Netflix. So wrapping everything up, the last thing that I'm doing is I'm reading the Winternight trilogy, finishing it. It's taken me forever. It's just there's been a lot on my plate emotionally, personally, and The Winter of the Witch is great so far. If you don't know about the Winternight trilogy, it's based in Russian folklore. It's beautiful and tragic and wonderful and amazing, and it's great. So that is my kind of mixed media update, mainly focused at first about my excitement with dark, which you can tell is lingering and seeping into every other part of my life right now in this giddiness. So yeah, again, thanks Germany for getting that out to us, because like the whole last couple of months here in Vegas has been really tough, and it's been tough and worse than a lot of other places. And I'm thankful that I'm here in Nevada rather than some other places. But we are at, like, once we open our doors back up for our resorts and stuff, things might get again. So I worry about people's safety coming here, but they're doing a lot to try and make sure that that's okay. I know that our governor, Steve Sisolak, just recorded a speech that I think is available on our state government website that talks about like safety and the reopening of some of the casinos and what those terms and conditions and what things may look like. There's actually like really cool stuff like hypersonic cleaning, like the chips that clean themselves, weird stuff like that, and dividers that self-sanitize. And I'm like, okay, whatever works, man. But yeah, Las Vegas has been hit really hard. Economically, it's been like a absolute repetitive fist to the gut and like to the diaphragm for us, and honestly probably to the privates. It's been like the worst bar fight ever economically for this town. It's been pretty bad, and our unemployment rate is extremely high, and there are people who've been waiting on the phone for like ever, like every single day, all day, to try and get their unemployment because it still hasn't shown up. So but it's fine, because they put the person who is in charge of our failing school district to replace the person who is in charge of our unemployment stuff. I'm sure it'll be fine. No corruption there. But hey, what's government without corruption, am I right? I'm sorry, my cynical nature is seeping through. But you must ask, am I being cynical or realistic? Anyway, on that incredibly depressing note, I love all of you. I'm in the middle of getting a service dog. That process takes a long time. I do have a prescription for it. My spine has been doing okay, but I'm at the end of the line for treatments for things. So management of it is where I'm at. And I'm just happy that I have what I have. And I'm happy that people make beautiful, amazing, and like heart-wrenching media for us to consume, especially during times like this, because we all know that sometimes we need to crawl into a book, or for some people, video games, right? Or you know, binge watch a series, or watch a really interesting movie, or create something ourselves, right? To get through these kinds of times. So take care as you're able. This is Kelly again with Eclectic Entries. I do have a Redbubble. I'm working on adding some other drawings to it now that my tablet is up and running again, because it like died on me. It went, and I was like, please no. And I had to try and fix that and my computer because it was having an issue with the plugin. And so Redbubble's a thing. I have a blog if you want to read it. Some of the stuff going on in my life academically and professionally. Some of it's personal. And yeah, like just I have a Patreon too, so hit me up if you want to do anything, like support me. I thank you so much for watching, and ciao.